Optional pricing and creating sub-estimates for complex bidding scenarios. So in this case, I'm going to be using fire protection as an example, but this applies to any industry. Essentially, you can create your primary base bid here. So this is my primary base bid. And if I go back to my takeoff, for example, in here, I've got my takeoff done in here, my layouts, I've got my different materials in here. On my summary, I've got all of this detail in here. And then in closing, in this specific instance, I am closing based on system. And when I look at this, I have my sprinkler heads and my sprinkler pipes systems in here. But what I've done is in this tender, the owner wants a couple of option prices. They want the option to go with a 4-inch backflow preventer versus a 6-inch backflow preventer, for example. So I have not taken that off in my base bid. My base bid does not include either of these options. What you'll see is back at the beginning, underneath my folder here for this estimate, I have these two option estimates in here. And now these options here, so this is my 4-inch option estimate. What I've done in here is I've simply added a blank drawing in here to attach my takeoff to, and I'm not really using it. But I have brought in my 4-inch BFP here. And then in a separate estimate here, exactly the same, add a blank drawing in here. And then I brought in my 6-inch backflow preventer. So these are very simple. I could include other things in here. I could include pipe, all of that sort of thing, whatever it takes to generate these two separate optional prices. And I'm going to actually work through this all the way to closing here. And I am going to close based on system in these ones also. And the reason for that is I have named my systems here in these sub-estimates very simply BFP 4-inch and BFP 6-inch in the other one. And then I'm going to assign my A crew into this. And I can skip down to the sale price here. I'm running this at 20% margin on both of these. They don't have to be the same. They can be completely independent. You can even have totally separate systems, closeouts, etc. in here. And actually looking at this, what I'm going to do is go through and delete the other systems in here, and we'll show you why in a second here. I had used our default template to open this up, so it came with all of this other information in here. In this specific case, you would probably want either a simplified template or to actually open up without a template, potentially, depending how detailed you need to be on these option prices. So I have finished off these option prices. I've got everything in them that I need, and I have a sale price here. I could actually zero this out, or I could run with it in here. A couple of different ways of doing this. Actually, to show this specific one, I am going to zero these margins out because I don't want to double mark things up. Now, returning to my base bid, what we have under packages here is the link estimate button. So what I can do in here is I can link an estimate in. So I'm going to go down into my folder here, and I'm going to link in the 4-inch here. There we go. I've got my 4-inch in here. And I'm then going to link in the 6-inch. And we now have the 6-inch in here. Now the key here is the breakdowns. We can now hop in here, and this is where you'll notice it pulls in whatever the breakdown is of that estimate. So with my 4-inch here, I had not gone through and deleted the other systems in there. Whereas in my 6-inch, I had, so I just get the one row in here. And what I want is I'm going to clear this distribution and put this 100% onto my 6-inch here. And then this one here is going to be cleared and put 100% on the 4-inch. Maybe not 1,000%, that'd be a bit aggressive. There we go. So these are now assigned to their respective breakdowns. And now if I come down to sale price here, and this is why we chose to zero out the margins in those sub estimates, because we're going to be putting an overall margin in here of 20%. Now, if you wanted to include some separate margin in these, you could. But with this now, it's going to show you what the markups are going to be on each one of these. And I can uncheck these to drop them out. And there is my new base bid price with the 6-inch option. This is my base bid price with the 4-inch option. So it makes it easier to control how you handle optional prices. Now, if a price changes in one of these sub estimates, something comes in, you need to add in reducers or something else in here. If I throw in, what I'm going to actually do in here is just simply adjust the labor in my 6-inch estimate here, and say instead of being a factor of 0.9, I'm going to go with a 1.2 on this. And that is going to change my price now in here to 73.81. And now if I come back into my primary bid here with everything linked in, instead of being 73.60, when I refresh this, it's going to bring it in at 73.81 here. And you may see, again, due to rounding errors, you may end up with that 1 penny off situation here. But here we go. It has updated our price within our primary bid, depending on how we adjusted the subsidiary linked in estimate here for the optional pricing. And again, if you end up with multiple projects with the same option pricing, you can simply copy these sub estimates around, move them in however you want into other bids, share them, link them in, however you may need to centralize the optional pricing depending on what the project requires.